It's now my pleasure to introduce, I think, what has to win easily as the funnest vision application of the day, because it's about making wine. So Chouette is a very cool startup that is using vision and drones to monitor the health of vineyards in real time and help the winemakers respond quickly to diseases that can threaten their crops. Charles Nespolys is co-founder of Chouette. He earned master's degrees in electrical engineering at Supélec in Paris and in aerospace engineering at Georgia Tech in the US. After that, speaking of Airbus, he worked for 4 years at Airbus Group Innovations on hybrid electrical propulsion systems for aircraft. In 2015, with an Airbus colleague, he co-founded Chouette, and I'm really pleased that Charles has come here to talk to us and explain how they're using vision, deep learning, and drones to solve an important business problem. Charles, welcome.
Thank you. So, is it working? Yes, so it's okay, perfect. Yes, so today I want to share with you a pretty nice topic, the wine. So I guess everyone here likes wine, so it's going to be refreshing. So I want to talk with you about my company, Chouette. So it's a small company. We started 2 years ago. And so I wanted to first to give you a short overview about what is the wine business and why Airbus engineers came from aircraft to wine. So first, the wine business. In France, the wine business is about like 700,000 hectares of wine. So it's a pretty big business. But of course, you have to know that France is not the only wine country. So we have in Europe, we have a pretty big, other very interesting country like Italy, Spain, USA, and China, which is going to be a pretty big market in the coming years for us. So, but in wine, there is a very big problem with the diseases. Diseases can destroy the entire harvest in 3 days if you do not put the correct amount of treatment at the good time. So this is why for only one illness, which is called mildew, you have some treatments which cost about like 500 to 700 euros per hectare. So, for instance, it's the most expensive cost of a winery. So, just to give you a short overview, it's almost €500 million just in France per year of treatment. So, and because it's not enough, in France we have another problem for them, in that we have a lot of plant protection product regulation, which is coming like in a couple of years. Its objective is to go from minus 25% of treatment in 2020 and minus 50% of treatment in 2025. So for the winemaker, it's a big problem, a very big problem. So, but hopefully there is a solution. The solution is called precision viticulture. In a way, it's very simple. The goal of precision viticulture is to come from like a global treatment on the entire parcel, which is done right now so you just have one parcel, you just have one tractor, cover the entire parcel, to a millimetric treatment. So the goal is only to treat the good spots at the good time. Hopefully for the winemakers, there are solutions for the tractors for managing such kind of techniques. So the tractor manufacturer, they have solutions for very precise treatment using GPS with RTK and some automatic valve to adjust the good treatment in the good position. But the tractor manufacturer, they do not sell the devices for a very, very simple reason. There is no automatic vineyard disease detection and visualization for like providing those devices with the correct map until Chouette. So with Chouette, we automatically provide with the winemaker such kind of map, which can be automatically put inside of the tractor in order for them to do their work like that. Very simple. So Chouette, what is it? Chouette, it's a solution which allows drones and artificial intelligence for the winemaker. So how does it work? I will briefly explain to you how it does the work, and then I will show you a quick video about how it's working in the fields. So we have an automatic drone which can be controlled by a simple app, like an Android app. Like in 2 clicks, you can launch a drone. So there is also nothing to do actually. And then when the drones fly, it took a lot of pictures of a parcel. So our UAV is able to fly like for 1 hour and to cover 5 hectares in 1 hour. So it took almost like 15 gigabytes of data in 1 hour. Then the drone automatically lands, and when the winemaker put it in its charging station, the drone automatically uploads all its data to our cloud, so that it can be automatically processed. And at the end, we have a very simple web platform which enables the winemaker to see, like in a couple of minutes, what's going on in its parcels. So a quick video to show you how it's working. Okay, it's perfect. So the application, the drone. So you just like put the arms, which are the batteries. So the drone flies automatically. And then at the end you have the application, so that you can see everything very simply. So you have no remote, nothing, just an iPad or a phone. It's very simple. So you have the objective of our solution is to know that the winemaker doesn't have to. For the winemaker, like a flying drone, it's a constraint. So we want to make it disappear. So this is why we did this solution. So with this short overview, I guess you have a pretty better idea of how it's working. So it's as you see, there is almost no interaction of the user. So that's exactly how it's working in reality. So for this solution, we have like 2 main key technologies. So the first technology, as I told you, it's a long flight time drones, so that we can be able to cover 5 hectares in 1 hour. And for that, we developed like a battery repartition device we patented. So the battery are inside of the arms of the drone. So it's very simple to assemble. So in 2 minutes, it assemble and to disassemble as well. As I told you, we have the application, which is pretty user-friendly. You can do that in a second. And of course, the key element of the system is the multispectral camera, which enabled us to get some millimeter resolution pictures. So the drone flies at 4 meters above the ground, so that you can see the very small phenomena of the disease. So we have a RGB camera and a near-infrared camera, because we also provide the winemakers with some information concerning the vigor of the wines. So it's gives us an information about how healthy is the grape. And the second key technology is the artificial intelligence. So for that, we designed 2 networks, 2 deep neural networks. So we talk about that during the entire day. So for us, we have one neural network, which is a fully convolutional neural network for what we call the image segmentation. So for each image, so this is an example of the image we took from the drone. So for each image, we segmented the image, and so that we can be able to extract the leaves, the grass, and the ground. So for the winemakers, it's very important to be able to have the vigor of only the leaf, only the grass, and the ground. And then we have the second network, which is coming on top of that, which is a convolutional neural network, the simple one, not fully, which handle all the anomaly detection. So by anomaly, I mean disease, but I also mean deficiencies and so on. So this neural network has been built So we designed the topology by using like some inception layers developed, for instance, in the GoogleNet, and so for all the working process, we use a Caffe framework. Why did we choose to have like two networks? It's very simple. It's because for the segmentation, if we took one image after the other one, we will not have enough granularity for the mask you see over there to identify. To identify what is a leaf and what is the ground. So we have to move on to a fully version of the system, and also you need to adjust the windows of the feature detection layers, so that we can be able to identify clearly the effect of a disease on the leaf. Because you have to know that for the disease detection, we did not rely on the spectral information of the disease. We rather rely on the shape of the disease, the texture the disease generates on the leaf. So the company was started in 2015. So we spent 1.5 years to design the system of the complete solution, and we started in 2017 a beta version of our commercialization. So we have been mostly focused on Champagne and Bordeaux for getting our first clients, but we're also digging on some other region like Cognac, Loire, and Provence to get interesting data and to get very important expertise from a wine expert, which are like across the entire country. So the target of our 2017 target was to first to get result metric from the reference winemakers, so our first clients, so that we can be able to have a very very powerful metrics for the next season, so 2018. And also we need to have like a very important flagship. So for instance, in Bordeaux we have some big winemakers like Chateau Pape Clément. I don't know if you know about that. For us, it's very important to spread the solution toward everyone. And lastly, we of course we have a lot of adjustment to do in our products, because when you come from the lab to the real world, there is a lot of things you don't think about. So this is why we have to spend this year to make our solution really fitted for the business. So just a second. Yeah, that's it. So we had to face a lot of challenges, of course, because otherwise you will find thousands of Chouette around the world, which is for now not the case. For what I remember, we are pretty much the only one working on this topic. The first challenge, which is very important, is the massive data processing. I told you about each flight generates like from 10 to 20 gigabytes of data for 5 hectares. It's pretty intense for the processing of such data, and all those images that come from they are uploaded to our cloud, and we have like around 1 to 2 hours of processing using high-end GPUs. And so the system has to be very simple to use, so the user does not have to see anything going on, doesn't have to interact in anything. So for having a viable product, we need to have something which is 100% elastic on the cloud infrastructure. For instance, right now we are managing like 10 clients. If tomorrow we're going to have like 500 clients who wants to do the analysis at the same time, we have to be able to handle that. So we need to have cloud solutions. So for now we are working using Amazon AWS, because they launched some pretty powerful GPU units not such a long time ago, in fact. Second point, the low-cost hardware. We're not in the lab, so we need to meet the client needs in terms of money. So we need to develop something which is pretty cheap. For instance, for now, if we wanted to to only get like off-the-shelf products like drones, multispectral cameras. Having a multispectral camera for now it's roughly like 3,000 euros if you like parrot cameras, for example. And if you want to have like a highly autonomy drones, it will cost you like around $30,000. And if you want to have something which flies 1 hour, it's going to be much more expensive. So we had to be able to downside this cost, because for us the target cost for the clients will be around like 2,000 euros. So we need to do a lot of work in order to decrease those costs. So the solution we thought about is very simple. It's to rely on a much more mature business, much more mature market, which is the mobile market. So we're using like a cheap cameras from a mobile phone. So it's IMX 219. But of course, you know that the main problem about using like a mobile phone system is that it's very difficult to get scientific grade results from consumer systems. So we had to do a lot of work to characterize such device. And third point, the first result. I told you before that in 3 days you can lose your harvest if you have a disease spreading into your parcels. So and also you have to know that it takes 1 to 2 days to be able to treat using your tractors, because you're depending on the weather. If it's raining, you cannot treat, and you're also relying on the material availability. Some winemakers, they don't have their own tractors, so they have to dispatch the tractors between all the owners. So this is why we need to have if we want to maximize the trade product impact for the winemakers, we have to provide results within 12 hours. So the only solution we thought about, it's very simple. It's just to come up with a 100% automatic analysis. So this is why for that we need to have some analysis which has to be at least 80% accurate. Otherwise, non-detection of a disease, it can cost a lot of money. For instance, in France, the average cost of wine is the average revenue of winemakers by hectare is like $25,000. In the US, it's more like 35, 40. So if you lose, it can be very expensive pretty easily. And last point, but not least, an ergonomic visualization platform. Like a winemaker, they're not data scientists, they're not experts. We need to provide a very, very simple platform and visualization system so that they can be able, with a glance, to see what's going on into their vineyard. So, how did we do? So I just talked a little bit about that, but I will go a little bit more deeper into our solutions. So first, deep learning algorithm. There are a lot of companies working with drones for agriculture for now, but they only rely on spectral analysis. So they want to find the spectral signature of a disease. But the problem is that in wine industry, the wine they have a lot of variability, a lot of species. The ground can be very different. Some leaves can be very old, from 0 to 60 years. So, in fact, spectral analysis has been in the market for I guess 30 years, but there are not at all very important. There are no good results. So we think that for that we have to rely on something which which works pretty well, which is the eye of the winemakers. So this is why we switch from spectral analysis to visual analysis, and this is why we need to move on to a deep learning algorithm which are very suitable for such kind of analysis. So for us, if you have the mildew I told you about before, It can be so because you have on the leaf you have some kind of it's kind of oil spot, colored oil spot into the leaves. So this is what the deep learning algorithm detects and show it to the winemakers. At the beginning, we wanted to work with conditional analysis, so, which had been presented before into the previous presentation, with a feature map which have been like preset, but in fact we did not succeed in having like good results. So, and as I told you, we need to have like an 80% efficient system. So we decided to move up to deep learning algorithm because it can be very robust and very simple to more or less pretty simple to use, and more than anything, when we develop a feature map for one disease, we realize that it's very powerful for the future analysis development because those feature maps are very efficient for new diseases we can add to our systems. So I told you it's deep learning is pretty easy. It's not really right because at the beginning we had to think about how to adjust the neural network topology to fit the detection of the disease. So we have to adjust of course the depth of the network. We have to adjust the inception layers, and we also have to adjust the window for each of these layers so that we can effectively, powerfully detect the problems. Also, we also need to have like some very good labeled data sets. It's the same thing for every deep learning system. So and we need to have a lot of data. So for us, we need like for one illness, we need like from 2,000 to 10,000 labeled data in order to provide a first version of an algorithm. So this is why we had to develop a semi-automatic labeling tool. So at first we generate a first neural network with a fully hand-labeled data set, and then we use it to generate some data, and some data which can be cross-validated by hand. What's good is that it can be pretty fast. So 2,000 label can be 2,000 label image can be pretty easily generated by that. And also, of course, we need to have the raw data. So we had to create an efficient network, not deep network, but efficient people network of experts who enable us to be able to see when in France when an illness appears, to go there to get the data and to go back home and analyze it. So for us it's very important. So the last point is the automatic data gathering. So of course we do not expect winemakers to get the SD card to put it into its computer, to wait and so on. So the drone has to become kind of an IoT object when it's connected to its docking station, so that it can automatically download upload all the images to our cloud, and then we have we developed all the complex infrastructure of data gathering, data analysis, so that we can scale up very easily. So I told you before that we need to allocate one GPU instance of AWS as soon as we get an analysis data available. And so on and so on. And of course, everything has to be pretty wisely monitored because a GPU instance on AWS can be pretty expensive if you forget to shut it down. So it's simple, but it costs you a lot of money. Trust me. And but for now, for what you have to know that doing something pretty easy for the client, it's pretty tricky to build. So we came up with a lot of troubles working on something which can be 100% efficient. And also we of course another key point is the drone and the camera. I told you a bit before that we work with Sony IMX219 camera, but we haven't been able to get the characterization of the camera spectral response, so we have no detailed data set. and sensitivity toward the exposure. So we had to develop a protocol to be able to characterize it by hand. So it was pretty intense, but if you want to have like a 30 euros camera, you have no other option for now. If you have something, I'm available. Now, another point is that we need to have a high resolution camera, so it's an 8 megapixel camera. And as always, if you want to have a cheap 8 megapixel camera, you have to use rolling shutter systems. So by rolling shutter systems, you're very sensitive to wobble effects. Wobble effect is like if you take a picture of something in a car, you see like something very strange happening in the image. So we had to be able to manage that by carefully monitoring the vibration within the drone, so that we can use it. We can use this camera in a good way. Also, told you that we have two cameras, one RGB, one near-infrared. So for each picture, we need to have an automatic matching of those two images in order to produce a Vigo analysis. Because for the Vigo analysis, you take the infrared image, you take the visible image, and you do a bit of processing in it, and so that you can be able to get the health of the leaf. But if you want to process like thousands of images in a row, this algorithm has to be like rocket proof, and you have to have there is no human eye which will validate the good performance of the algorithm. And also, as always, if you have thousands of images, you will have some bad images, like overexposure, underexposure, and a lot of other things. So we had to work on an automatic system to select the good and the bad images. Also, concerning the drone itself, having a drone which can be controlled using a simple app with only 2 buttons, we have to take into account a lot of complexity. For instance, like the battery management, some kind of smart return to home. For instance, if you have a parcel which is like that, and you have like a home here, you do not want the drone to go there and to hit the home. Very simple, but we need to take that into account. And you also have to come up with a smart geofence. Geofence is like when you have, for whatever reason, a problem, the drones fly away. We do not want it to fly away too away. So we had to have something which automatically enable the drone to kill itself, so that it's going to be pretty safe for everyone else except himself. And also as I told you, the elastic architecture using Amazon EC2. So we had to do like a kind of big like management system, so that we can allocate one instance for each process, so that we can avoid any scale-up issues. So the business model, because I told you about the system itself, but what the business model for the winemakers? It's very simple. It's much more like a mobile phone business model. So the winemakers buy the drone, and the price of the drone will vary among the number of hectares he wants to use. So it's for like 2,000 to 4,000 euro one drone, and the maintenance fee, so 200 euro per year of fee, and an annual platform subscription. So it's like 10 to 20 euro per hectare per month of use. As the drone is in the winery, we want it to be used as much as possible. This is why we want an unlimited platform subscription, so that the winemakers can use it a lot. So we get a lot of data, we improve our systems, and the winemakers get used to this new technology. So it's very important. So with this platform subscription, it's a platform, so the web platform for the visualization, but also, of course, the analysis. So it's unlimited. So the next challenge. For now, we are facing some limitation in our device. So we have an 8 megapixel camera, which is not enough. we need to go higher in resolution so that we can have more detailed image, so better analysis, and we can even be able to detect some other deficiencies or disease in the wine, in the leaf of the wine. And also, if you have a higher resolution camera, you can be able to cover to cover like more parcel in one flight, which is linked to the first point, which is the high-speed camera. Today we shoot at like 0.7 seconds per image. We want to, if we can be able to shoot at 10 frames per second and more, for us it's very important because we will be able not to cover 5 hectares per flight, but like 50 hectares. So for us it's very important so that we can be able to reach the global winemakers market. So for now we like restricted to a quite small winery. If we want to move it to a very big winery, like 200, 400 hectares, like in Australia, in South America, and so on, we need to come up with such technology. But the main problem is, of course, the increase of data. I told you that it's like 10 to 20 gigabytes of data per flight. If we multiply by 10 the flights, it's more like 200. So. So for now, with this quantity of information, it's almost impossible to upload this data using using DSL technologies or even fiber. It's too much. So this is why we need to do a non-method analysis. So we need first to find good deep learning processing chips which will enable us to do the analysis either within the drone itself or within the docking station. Doesn't really matter, but very important. And also we need to lighten our neural network because right now it's a pretty big neural network. So we need to understand how can we adjust it to be much more powerful and able to do some good and efficient and quick analysis within some embedded analysis processing. So thank you very much for your attention. So if you have any questions.
Thank you, Charles.